Previously.
Chris Wood scored again. City, Semenyo scored in 9 minutes.
God, 2 minutes later, Salah scores. Ugh, and nothing from Haaland. Another Solanke goal. Ugh, irritating. Ah, green arrow! Here is how my team got on last game week. 45 points, which has taken me up to 2.8 million. I've now officially had more green arrows than red this season, and it would be nice if that streak can continue. I'm trying to look for the positives at the moment because I'm definitely not where I would like to be rank-wise, but we've still got a couple of weeks to go. So defence was nothing to brag about, unfortunately. Raya did not keep a clean sheet again, but I'm not too fussed about that at the moment. I'm still really happy with that pick. Having a set and forget captain is quite nice to not have to overthink that situation. And I think the clean sheets will start coming again soon, and I'll probably go back to double Arsenal defence and bring in Gabriel at some point. Trent and Porro are two that I'm probably going to transfer out fairly soon. Trent's currently the 4th highest scoring defender, but at 7 million, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of money, particularly in light of me owning Raya and Porro as well. Van Dijk is in better form, assisting in the last fixture against Brighton and scoring against Arsenal. Gvardiol has also been really impressive, scoring 3 goals in City's past 5 fixtures. So there is a temptation to go away from him and invest more of that money in my attackers. Porro, again, is another frustrating one. He'll probably leave my team after the international break, but I didn't want to take him out ahead of Spurs' fixture against Ipswich this game week. He's only kept 2 clean sheets and scored 1 goal so far this season and picked up 1 bonus point along the way. It's a really frustrating one with Porro because game week 1 he scored and I thought yes, but unfortunately he is not in the same position as he was last season on so many set pieces, so he's not getting into those positions. If that was to change, I would definitely keep him in my team because it's a nice route into having a Spurs player as well, but unfortunately we're just not getting that consistency from him. Aït-Nouri, I'm okay with blanking. He scored 3 goals and had 2 assists already this season, so again he's one that I'm going more for the attacking potential, particularly in light of how poorly Wolves' season has gone so far, but I am feeling good about keeping him ahead of Southampton, and there may even be a clean sheet in that game. Have to talk about the fact that I benched Milenkovic and he got a clean sheet. I need to start relying on him more. Forest's defence is really solid this season. Milenkovic is a pick that I'm really happy with as well. He's had 6 shots in the box and been involved in 5 big chances. It's annoying that he is there on the bench, but one that I probably need to start bringing in. And an advantage to taking out Porro or Trent is at the moment, because I'm spending so much money there, I feel like I have to use them. But if I do transfer them out, Milenkovic is a really nice cover. Then in midfield, I would never have predicted who was going to score and who was going to blank this week. Semenyo came away with 10 points against City thanks to a goal and 3 bonus points, which I'm so happy about. I was actually thinking of transferring him out, but now I think he might be a hold. He's a decent value and Bournemouth's upcoming fixtures are really nice all the way up until Christmas. Rodgers also came away from Villa's fixture against Spurs with a goal, but the team did crumble shortly after that. He only played 68 minutes, but having him makes me feel a little bit more confident about potentially transferring out Watkins. Then my other 2 midfielders blanked, so there's not too much to say there. The front 3, let's get Haaland out of the way. I'm so annoyed that I caved and I bought him under the pressure when I should have just stuck with Salah, but things could still change this season. He might get back to his attacking force that we have seen. He only scored 2 points this game week, captained him, so I got 4. Even more painful in light of not owning Salah or captaining Salah. I saw so many big scores this game week because of that Salah captaincy. So since transferring Haaland in, he scored 1 goal. It's not going too well so far. Watkins is also quite frustrating to own, and realistically, I'm not really that fussed about having him in my team for the next few game weeks. The only time that I would really want to have him is game week 15 when Villa play against Southampton. There's a long time between now and then. We've got an international break in between there as well, so I may transfer him out and then end up bringing him back in a couple of game weeks' time, depending on how his form improves. But having Rodgers there is that nice coverage for Villa's attack, and Rodgers just seems to be around every single piece of attack at the moment. So I think that could be a nice way to save money and then bring in a different attacking asset. On a much brighter note, Chris scored once again. He scored against West Ham and he also picked up 1 bonus point. He's just a machine at the moment, one that I didn't see coming, but very pleased I've got him in my team and he is doing well. So that takes me into some potential issues within my team. Let me quickly dissect my team and go through my main areas of concern. So first of all, we have got Aït-Nouri, Semenyo, Dibbling, all on 4 yellow cards. If they get a 5th, they are suspended for 1 match. Dibbling's not too much of an issue in that situation. He is very much a bench warmer. Semenyo and Aït-Nouri, I probably need to look at a little bit more. Aït-Nouri, I have got the coverage of Milenkovic. Semenyo, I just don't really have that attacking coverage. So if I do happen to be in the situation where Aït-Nouri and Semenyo get their final yellow card in the same game week, it'll be a bit more of a headache. But for now, I think I'll probably just ride it out and hope that it doesn't happen anytime soon. Then we have got the issue of the man up front, Ollie Watkins. One of my favourite assets, and I've really been keen to bring him in, and I thought I was ahead of the game by bringing him in early. Hasn't really done too much. His last 4 appearances, he's only scored once. Now, we did have this last season. Everyone transferred him out, and then he managed to score a hat-trick and maybe also get an assist, I can't remember, against Brighton. So that means I'm quite tempted to keep hold of him and hope that he'll just have an amazing game week. But where I have got the coverage with Morgan Rogers, maybe I don't need to have Watkins, and where there are a lot of forwards performing really well, I could bring one of those in instead and probably save a lot of money. And then a very popular topic in the FPL community, is it worth having Erling Haaland at his high price point? Now, I've just been absolutely awful with Haaland this season. Didn't have him at the start of the season, brought him in, and then since having him in game week 6, I think it was, he scored 1 goal. That is not worth the 15.4 million price tag. There are much better options out there at the moment, but I think I might still be patient with him. And then another player that I am a little bit hesitant over keeping is Cole Palmer. If you have watched my channel in recent game weeks, you'll know that I transferred him out the week before his 4 goals against Brighton, so I'm definitely trying to be patient with him this time round. But I am a bit worried about his fitness, especially as he wasn't pictured in recent training photos. On Friday, when this video will be coming out, there should be some more information about him. So for now, he is staying. And also, I don't want to rush too much. Cole Palmer is performing so well this season. He's matched Salah's attacking returns with 12 already, and his upcoming fixture against Arsenal does look difficult on paper, but he has scored against them twice before. But they are the main issues with this team. I will now talk about some potential solutions to my problems. Potential transfer solutions. We've got Vardio in defence, 6.2 million. He's the second highest scoring defender after Van Dijk, despite City only keeping 2 clean sheets this season. He's in great form, scoring 3 goals in the past 5 game weeks. If I do transfer out Haaland, this will be a nice route into still having an attacking player for City. And then I've got Salah. He's only blanked once so far this season, averaging 9.3 points per match. That level of consistency means he's a really reliable captaincy option and someone I'm terrified of not owning. I'd also like to target Spurs, especially for this week's home fixture against Ipswich, who have only kept 1 clean sheet and they've conceded 45 big chances already. The choice is between Brennan Johnson and Solanke. Brennan Johnson has been really consistent this season, securing 4 goals and 2 assists so far. He's also been consistently playing for 90 minutes. He's a much cheaper option at 6.7 million and he's got a low ownership at 10.7%. But now I'm wondering if Solanke's finally found his form after a bit of a rocky start as a Spurs player. Managers were rewarded this game week with 16 points from him thanks to 2 goals and an assist against Villa. I'm trying not to let recency bias affect me because he did only register an XG of 0.13 from game week 7 to 9. Then I'm also keeping an eye on United players, particularly Garnacho and Fernandes. My final dilemma comes down to Wolves and it's Cunha versus Strand Larsen. I've been banging on about Strand Larsen for weeks and he has performed well already with 4 goals and 1 assist. But I can't ignore Cunha's attacking potential. He's had the second most shots out of all forwards after Haaland and he's also had the same number of attacking returns as Strand Larsen. So I've got quite a few dilemmas to go through. There are a lot of players that I'm quite keen to bring into my team. My team selection this week could go one of 2 ways. I will either be rolling or I'm going to be using multiple transfers. I'm leaning towards being more patient and rolling for this game week. It'll put me in a really strong position after the international break and I'll have 4 free transfers to play around with. We've seen from last week, everyone was transferring out Solanke and then he went and had an amazing game and it looks as though his form is there now. That could happen this game week. There may be a player that we're all overlooking who will just go off and I will think, I want to bring him into my team. So that's where I'm persuading myself. One of my biggest concerns about this game week was Palmer. I think he'll be fine to play. And Palmer is so strong at home. He's secured half of his points so far this season in home fixtures. After this week's game against Arsenal, Chelsea also go on to a really nice run of fixtures. So I'll definitely be wanting him back after international break anyway. There's no point taking him out to replace him with Salah and then having a bit of a headache afterwards about how to bring him back in. Only thing is, if I were to use 3 transfers to get to Salah, I could easily upgrade someone in my midfield. And then that gives me the buffer of having Haaland and Salah, but I just feel as though it's too many compromises and I need to just stick with my decisions. As you can see, the captaincy is also on Haaland. City just aren't having a great run at the moment, losing 4-1 to Sporting midweek, losing to Bournemouth last game week. They're second in the league and they're going to be so keen to take Liverpool away from the top spot. Haaland also tweeted this, to which I gave him some encouragement. So I'm hoping that his frustration from his recent performances comes out against Brighton and he manages to get a hat-trick. If I can own Haaland finally for a hat-trick, that'll be great. My dream would also be that De Bruyne is in the starting 11 on Saturday. I think it's unlikely. He did make a very brief cameo in the Champions League, but I think he's probably going to be rested going into the international break, and then maybe we'll see a bit more of him afterwards. Alternatively, I really want to bring in a Spurs attacker, and at the moment, Spurs are at the top of the table for expected goals, and Ipswich are at the bottom of the table defensively, so it's the perfect matchup. I could either transfer out Haaland and bring in Solanke, and then in my midfield, I could upgrade Dibbling to Salah. And looking at my midfield, the main weakness is Dibbling. He's just there to basically remain on the bench. I could avoid Salah but keep hold of Haaland and then downgrade Ollie Watkins to Strand Larson and then upgrade Dibbling to Brennan Johnson, which is probably the more fun move for me. But then the other one I think is more sensible. So I've got this dilemma and I think I'm in a nice position. If I do just roll, it's not the end of the world, but I think I will be missing out if I don't go for a Spurs attacker. And with Wolves' fixtures changing now as well, I think a Wolves attacker would be really beneficial. But as always, not too sure. We'll make a decision ahead of the deadline. Do let me know in the comments what your plans are for your team this week and who you're planning to captain. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you've enjoyed it, please do subscribe and don't forget to drop it a like. And I will see you in my vlog from the weekend where hopefully I will be celebrating another green arrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!